But one thing I heard you talking about earlier was a Sunday phone call, and I absolutely want to dig into that. Sunday, we do a lot of that stuff too on Sundays. It's like a time to reflect and reset our business before the work week. So why don't you tell us a little bit about what that looks like?
Well, we have a staff meeting. I shouldn't say staff meeting, a team meeting. Staff meeting's the thing of the past. We have a team meeting where we were doing it Monday, and then we realized, you know what, Monday, the week's already started. Why don't we do this Sunday, wrapping up the week before, preparing for the week coming forward? And whether that's just a phone call or it is us getting together and breaking bread, my team was getting together and breaking down. Have you guys ever read Traction, the book?
Yes. My whole business is on Traction.
Okay,
so,
love it.
Yeah, absolutely.
So Steve Trang and Max Jimenez, good buddies of ours.
With real estate disruptors,
real
by the way.
Disruptors, good friends of ours.
Yes, mentors as well, because they're our colleagues and mentors.
Oh, they're
right?
the best.
Yes.
And I run with Steve Monday, Wednesday, Friday. We run 4 or 5 miles each one of those days.
It's a wholesale running club, right?
Yeah, exactly.
I
wholesale running club.
I want to live in Phoenix.
That's
I mean,
so
I know.
fun.
Let's go. We'll ditch the humidity. Let's just go.
Fun. It is very humid here.
Yeah.
So I'm running around with Steve one morning, and he brings up Traction again, and I'm like, "Gosh, I've heard this thing 50 times."
Life
Fine.
changing.
And I read I got to chapter 2, and I'm like, I've been running my life incorrect this entire all 30
We call
years.
this the meltdown stage.
So bad.
Yes.
The revelation.
I'm like, oh my gosh, we got to fix things. So what we implemented was the level 10 meeting.
Yep.
And we call it the level 10 meeting. You'll understand if you read the book. And so we were doing it Monday. We realized what would happen is we've already started the week and we didn't really like it. So we started on Sunday. Then one of us had a thought where we go, what if we recorded this call for a newbie or somebody that's even doing 1 or 2 deals a month but wants to get to 10 or 15 deals a month? They want to hear what it sounds like to be in a level 10 meeting so that they can visualize in a year or 2 years what their company should be talking about, right? So what we do is the first 45 minutes of the call is basically the last 45 minutes of our level 10 meeting, right? Because they're 90 minutes. So we do our 45 minutes and we talk about a bunch of stuff that's boring. And then we talk about the last 45 minutes, we kind of wrap up our level 10 meeting and let people hear in on that. And we talk about our KPIs for the week. We talk about the deal of the week. Let's say we get 3 or 4 deals. We're going to pick one out of that deal or out of those 4 that might be the most interesting, that require the most creativity, that maybe teaches them something they haven't heard on a YouTube video or they haven't learned in a seminar, right? Last week we talked about how I drove from Phoenix to Wyoming to get a contract that the seller doesn't even have an email. You guys run into that ever? You ever get an email?
All the time.
Oh, yes.
It's weird.
It is.
You don't even have an email?
I know.
I understand you're not checking it, but you don't even have one?
No,
Yeah.
I know. We've had to create emails for our customers.
Well, hey, that's an idea.
We've had to do that.
Right. That's smart.
That is smart.
So what we did is we suggested a mobile notary. Nope, absolutely not. I've been talking to you and Anna. If one of you is not willing to come up here, then I'm not willing to sign.
Yeah.
So I thought I could fly to Denver, but then it's a 4-hour drive and blah, blah, blah. You know what? Screw it. I'm just driving. So I tell that whole story on that call and then talk about where the lead source came in, how many times we called that seller before we got an appointment, what happened during the appointment, how much we bought it for, how much we think the ARV is, what we decided to do with it, whether we're fixing and flipping it, we're holding it for an Airbnb or an assisted living, or we're dispoing it, and which mechanism are we utilizing to dispo it. Actually, on that particular deal, Keegley is selling that for us.
Nice.
So we'll tell people, hey, we're having Keegley sell it, and we'll do all that stuff and break it all the way down on a real deal that happened in the last 7 days. So it doesn't matter if you're in Phoenix, if you're in New York City, you're in Florida. We had, I think, close to 200 people on the call last week.
Wow.
And it's just people listening into our team talking about the deals we're doing. And then we open it up the last 30 minutes for the first 10 people that press, I think it's 6, the number 6, they get put into a queue to ask a question. The first 10 people get asked a question, and then after those questions are answered, we end the call. So we do that every week. It's free. We simply do it just to help and see if we can change the industry to be more of like brotherly love and helping each other out, because it's a lot more fun that way.
Yeah, 2 things that I love about this is, one, you're showing people, I think, what it looks like to what you could be in a couple of years. If you don't know what it looks like, you don't know what to build. I tell people all the time, you have to understand what you want in your business and what you want it to look like. So go listen to these guys who are doing it, see if it fits for you. And I think that that's access like that is so hard to come by. So I mean, that is an incredible offering. And I think it's really key that you say you want to change the kind of thought behind the brotherly love of the industry, because all of us get so busy with ourselves and we always think, well, how are you bringing me value? I don't have time for this. This is a great way to bring people in without disrupting your business.
Perfect example. People say, how do you have time for this? And I go, I'm not really changing anything in my business. You're just hearing the tail end of an already existing business discussion. Same thing with when I take people on appointments. I'm already going to those appointments.
Right. Yeah. You're not going to coffee extra time.
Right.
That's unnecessary. Just better yet.
You know what? I have. You guys ever have title agents reach out to you?
Oh, yes.
Okay, so what I tell title agents, they go,
if they're not investor agents, yes.
Right. They go, I want to take you to lunch, I want to take you to coffee. I go, here's what I'll let you do. You can come on an appointment with me.
This is what I'll let you do. Yes. I love this.
If you want to hang with me.
Key phrases. You like key phrases, Casey? This is what I will let you do.
I don't mind you marketing and telling me something, but it needs to be during the normal course of my day. And the most important thing I do in the day is in the morning. You guys, this isn't something I created. A million people do this, and I learned it from everybody else. Is you wake up and I review my calendar that I set the night before, and I just go, is everything exactly as is? Did somebody text me in the middle of the night and say, hey, I got to change or whatever else? So I'll set my calendar down, and if there's 30 minutes unaccounted for, I'm filling that in with, oh, let me call this person I've been meaning to call, and I put it on my calendar. So I don't have time to sit down and have coffee and have lunch and teach somebody something by, you get newbie wholesalers who go, I'll buy you lunch, I'll do whatever. No. Let me work, let me make money, and you can watch me do that, and it's gonna be way more valuable than sitting at Starbucks.
Yes. Love this.
Right? So it's not that it screws up my day, it allows me to not have to sell anything to make up that time. I'm just doing it for free, just don't slow me down. That's all I ask.
Okay, that's key. I'm gonna start implementing that because I get a lot of people reaching out to me, and I get overwhelmed because it's a lot, and I really can't. I mean, it's like a lot of people. So imagine if I even took 30 minutes per person. I've already
Impossible.
lost. I lost already over a month's worth of work. Sorry.
Right.
So too much coffee. So it's like this is much more effective. It's real life. What better than to see somebody implement what they're doing, and your questions will be answered, and even questions you never even
knew
thought you had. They're answered right then and there. I love that, Pace. Thank you for
my first thought about all that was not an altruistic thought. So like a year ago, I said, man, not a year ago, about 2.5 years ago when I first jumped in, I go, these guys don't want me to go on their appointments. These guys don't want to help me. Nobody there's a handful of people that really I attribute a lot of my success to. Jamil was the first person I called when I jumped into wholesale. I said, bro, sit down with me. I'll buy you lunch. He didn't say something like, no, I'll let you go to, right? He was super gracious. We went and had lunch together. But the overwhelming majority of guys in our town, at least 2.5 years ago, it's changed dramatically. They wouldn't want me to learn anything they're doing because they saw me as a threat, right? So I thought, man, I would pay somebody $5,000. I would pay somebody $10,000 to sit in their car and watch them go get contracts. I love the seminars. There's a handful of seminars I've been to that I thought were completely worth the money. But for me, I'm the guy that if I didn't sit in the front class in school, I'm getting bad grades. I have to sit in the front row. So I want to sit in the car. I want to smell the air freshener that they chose. I want to see what color notepad they have. I want to see, feel, smell everything. And I said, I will pay $5,000 or $10,000 to do this. Then I came up with this thought, one of those things where you're just sitting there and this thing pops in your head and I go, I could make money teaching people how to do this by charging $5,000 a seat and doing this once every 3 or 4 weeks. Then I realized as you're getting deals, the amount of time it takes to sell people, hold them accountable and whatever else would actually detract from my business and I would get less deals. Therefore, any money I would make on helping people and collecting money from them would actually cost me money in my real business.
Absolutely.
And so we just decided doing it for free. So you'll see on my Instagram, I'll do a story and I'll say, hey guys, there's a seat right here, and there's 3 seats behind me that are empty. Who's going to sit in those today, and who's going to go on the appointment? So whatever car you drive, I don't know how many empty seats you have, but you should have a couple people driving around with you at least one day a week and seeing what appointments feel like.
Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, move. Get out the way, get out the way, get out the way, move. Get out the way.
Get the Propelio mobile app and drive for dollars today, all without leaving your car.